The Dr. Stone manga is closing into 200 chapters. With only a chapter left for it to hit another century, Riichiro Inagaki is throwing in a grand plot along with outstanding illustrations from Boichi. The manga is bringing in a major change in pace within the chapters. A lot is happening, a lot of things are being revealed, and a lot of characters are being revived. There are so many things and previously established plots that the manga has to address. Meaning, there's a lot to look forward to in this masterpiece of a manga. Dr. Stone Chapter 199 was recently released and we are more than hyped about the story as a whole. Amazingly, Riichiro manages to not only conclude a big point in his chapters but also raise expectations for the next. Chapter 199 was just of that sort. Previously on Dr. Stone, we have seen a big development as Senku and Tsukasa manage to unravel the secret of immortality. Zeno has been revived but Stanley is not, thankfully. Senku along with Zeno is planning to head off to investigate Y-Man. It's reassuring to see the story come back to Y-Man. We've all been pretty curious to know about their motives and weird messages that only consist of Y. After all the conflict, Zeno and Senku are teaming up against what seems like the biggest enemy in the manga, Y-Man. Continuing the story from where it left, Zeno has joined the Kingdom of Science. He builds a Giga counter by extracting argon from the atmosphere using a self-made device. They find different ores like pyrochlorate, nickel, ilmenite, molybdenum, and chrome. Senku is in awe of how many great metals they had found. Zeno however points out that they still haven't gained an important one, which was iron. They receive iron from Perseus and Kaseki feels terrible about it. Whatever remained of the ship is further broken by Chrome and his friends. But when Senku says he will rebuild Perseus into something stronger, faster, and better, Kaseki is delighted. At Isla Martin Garcia, they build different alloys. They succeed in making stainless steel, using which they create cans for canned food. At the same time, more people are revived and the word about Y-Man and the plan of going to the moon is spread. Zeno later also comments on how the stainless steel created by them is level 1. Zeno announces that the spaceship that they want to create requires a lot more resources. They decide to divide and conquer. Zeno takes responsibility for building the rocket while Senku will work on Perseus. Later, Zeno shares about the process of upgrading their alloys to superalloys but the process also releases highly toxic poison. He says that if he has to take the role of a villain, he would accept being the dark scientist in contrast to Senku being the light. Dr. Stone's Chapter 199 was uplifting if anything. There were so many details worth praising. Suika's development in this chapter is enough to leave any Dr. Stone fan teary-eyed. She has so much science knowledge now. The concept of the chapter is clear, introducing the two obvious sides of science. Much to surprise, Dr. Stone is making use of Zeno as a character that entertains the readers with his dark motives. He is ready to take bold steps using his science. On an ethical level, Senku's way seems safer and more humane. He seeks to use science to only make things that help people without causing destruction. But, Zeno can take risks. He is ready to sacrifice his humanity and let the toxic gases be formed if it means he can build something stronger like the superalloys. Zeno is no different than the scientists in the world we live in. War machines, weapons, and hazardous materials are well-known developments of science. But can we call it wrong? That is the exact side Zeno is portraying. On the other hand, we have Senku, the light. Zeno describes him as the light that will lead humanity to their bright future. He is not wrong. However, there will always be both sides of light and darkness in science. Working together is the only way to keep destruction away. There was so much symbolism in Chapter 199, like any other chapter. The story is starting to get more interesting and we await to see them finally make their way to the moon.